wanna call in sick, stay home from work.
I wanna put my fingers in the dirt.
I wanna find a great big tree that I can...
Let's get into the music. Let's hop in. It's great to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today.
Oh, yeah, it's my pleasure.
So before we got on in earnest, we were kind of talking about the world and what's going on, and COVID was a part of that. 6 years ago, this pandemic was changing all of our lives, especially musicians. How did you get through that COVID era, and how has it changed the way that you create and do things today?
Well, I got really into the internet. So when I started as a musician, I started actually as a ukulele player. And so during COVID, I was doing weekly live streams for folks, where I'd get on and I'd play for them. And it really cemented to me the importance of community, the importance of bringing art to people. Because, when I play a show, sure, people clap and they might verbally respond, but I can't tell what they're thinking. It was really cool during COVID to play a song and for someone to say, they played that song at my prom. Oh my gosh, really? They played it at my prom too. I was dancing with Julie from chem class. And seeing them talk to each other and realizing like I'm fostering that, it gave me a lot of foundational dreams for what I bring to my live shows and what I bring to my songwriting. I'm very community oriented, very interested in not pandering to the audience, but making sure they're included, making sure I'm thinking about their well-being and bringing them joy or catharsis or connection. I feel very strongly that that's my role in music.
So talk to me a little bit about the latest single and activity that's going on. What Humans Do is the latest single. Talk to me a little bit about activity that's going on in your world these days.
What do you mean by activity?
Just as far as like recordings, live shows, what's going on these
Oh,
days?
yeah. So we recorded a full-length album last April. It comes out in 2 weeks, April 17th. The latest single is off the record. It's, as you said, it's called What Humans Do. And it's co-written and co-performed with Jeremy Messer-Smith, who is an indie pop singer-songwriter who's based here in Minneapolis too. And we're pals and talked about collaborating and wrote this tune.
So talk to me a little bit. The one thing we did mention before we got on too is that, when we look at the history of social movements in America, there's, like the 60s, for instance, music was a saving grace
Yeah.
between Bob Dylan and Baez and all of those central figures. And I feel like in America right now, especially up there in Minneapolis, being the epicenter for so much activity between COVID and now, and just in this country in general, between immigration and wars and things that are happening, how much of living in this stressful American time right now are you thinking about giving music to the audience to help kind of soothe and ease some of that stress we're living through?
I'm thinking about it nonstop. When you make a record, it takes a long time. And so this record that I'm releasing is very autobiographical. It's very of my own stuff. This is my whiteboard behind me, and this is my next record. And so far, I can only write songs about the apocalypse. Uh, doesn't mean that my whole album will be about the apocalypse, but right now, especially since January, I had written a bunch of songs at the end of 2025, and after January, I was like, I don't want to do that at all. I want to I want to do something that feels like it means something. I mean, I just did a residency last month where I was a block up from Alex Preddy's memorial, and I felt like I had to really hold the audience. Um, and I felt like I had an opportunity to build something like beautiful for them, like to hold them, like just as everyone's still grieving. Um, and so I feel very motivated right now to write songs that reflect, in particular, right now I'm thinking about the dichotomy between the the trauma that we're enduring and the things that we see, and then this having to live through everyday life, right? So trying to keep things going or being expected to be really calm. There's no space to stop and think and grieve, and um, so I'm thinking a lot about that dichotomy and what it means to make jazz in this time, right? Like jazz is such a revolutionary art form.
Hmm.
How can I use that to my benefit to say something new, to give a different perspective, and to, like I'm saying, like to provide catharsis or provide some relief, some calm.
It's interesting that you have that visual back there because I always mention that whenever you're talking about the new album, you've already moved on to the sketch for the next one.
Isn't
Like,
that?
right? The
Yeah.
rear view mirror is what we're focusing on right now. So I'm curious with the new album, what are you ultimately hoping the listener gets from this album?
Joy. Oh, joy. And I'd love for them to see themselves in one of the tunes. Uh, so what humans do is centered around a return to humanity. You know, what does it mean um, to really go back to like the things that make us human, including our mortality? Like, where is kind of the silver lining in that, or um, like the shared connection of that, right? Uh, and so I love when people hear that song and they say, "Oh, I love that lyric," or "Yes," like, um, I one of the lyrics in it is a Big Mac and a box of wine, and I get a lot of people that just like love that lyric in particular. Um, and uh, and yeah, the whole, I mean, I'm a openly queer artist, so I love getting to showcase that for, or not showcase that for people, but like feel very seen, when I'm playing. I love to bring like queerness to jazz because it's always been there. It's just that it was really coded back then.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm less coded, right? Because it's 2026. And so
Yeah.
I have more space to be myself. Um, and so oh man, I just want to give people like points of joy, points of recognition. I'd love for them for their blood pressure to go down.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Or dance in their kitchen, all
Yeah.
that good stuff.
So talk to me a little bit about your journey. Are you originally from Minneapolis? Where were you born and raised?
So I was born in Newport, Rhode Island,
Okay.
part of a military family. So I moved around a lot as a kid. I went to college in DC, and I moved to Minnesota in 2013 for a relationship that did not work out.
So talk to me about your jazz roots. Talk to me about how jazz and music and how all of this became your world and your career.
Yeah, so I went to school for musical theater. I had dreams of Broadway. I ended up moving out to Minneapolis for an acting job and was a professional actor here. Um, I'd always loved jazz, but I never sang it. Uh, and then I did a show with a music director who's a jazz pianist in town, um, about 10 years ago. And he said, Do you sing jazz? And I said, No, not really. He said, I think you should. I think you should come with me. And then we had two rehearsals, and before I knew it, I was gigging with him. Uh, had a great time, made a record, built my own band, made a second record, tweaked my band, and then we've made this third record of all originals.
So talk to me a little bit about the first live show that you saw that blew you away.
The first live show, oh my gosh, I can't even. I mean, the first live show that blew me away was Les Mis, which is probably not like the cutest answer, but that was the first show that I was like, what is this? Like, what is art? What is music? Like, people can do that. Um, like changed my brain chemistry forever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
But so from the realm of jazz, like recordings and influences, who's been really influential on the way that you approach music?
Um, so I put this into two categories. I'm obviously very influenced by the greats. I came up with Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra. I listened to a lot of that as a kid. So even though I didn't sing jazz professionally, I certainly had sung it in my living room, my bedroom, things like that. Um, I'm also very influenced by a lot of contemporary artists. So I'm a big fan of Madeline Peyroux, Eva Cassidy, Melody Gardot, Nora Jones, Amy Winehouse, that type of thing. Um, Erin McCowan, if you're familiar with her.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm very fascinated by the overlap of folk and jazz, um, which is to say, like how storytelling can work in jazz. Sometimes jazz um, has really deep stories, and sometimes it doesn't. And I like to play with that, which I feel like there's a lot from the folk world that I like to pull into my writing style, especially my lyrics.
So, why do you love this art form we call jazz?
Um, I love a lot about it.
Huh?
But for me, I think the thing I love the most is the live performance connection of it. I'm a very emotional singer. I'm very like emotionally driven, lyric driven. And so I will take songs in different directions depending on my day or how I'm feeling, or I might hear a bass lick and go off on something. And my band knows me well enough to follow me, and I encourage them to do the same. And so it's to me when we're on stage, we speak a different language that I find to be the most magical thing in the world. I love performing it. When we were making the record, we tried as much as we could to capture that. We did a lot of the record live together. Um, and I don't know, I love the interconnectedness of it. I love the response and the immediacy, um, and how we can do things. We can sit in the green room and say, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do two tags at the end. But then we're up there, it's like, oh, um, the audience wants something tender. Like I'm gonna create something with, just go with me. I'm very particular about who I play with because I really enjoy that aspect of it. And not everybody does. Some people really want to just play the page, which is totally fine. It's just not my style.
Yeah, I get it. So what gets you up every day? What do you love the best about being a professional musician? What motivates you to evolve and to create and to love this profession?
Um, I want to just write as much as I can. I want to understand as much as I can. Um, I want to get as good as I can. I just want to spend my whole life studying, um, finding new challenges, getting better. Like right now, I really want to write some vocalises. That's my next dream. Um, this is probably really niche and no one wants this, but I have a dream of doing some like millennial focused vocalises. Um, I'm very interested in what can I do in the modern day that's interesting that keeps jazz fresh for young people too, which I know millennials aren't as young as we once were. But I want to make cool stuff. I want to make cool stuff that people are like, I've never heard that, or that meant so much to me, or yeah, and then I just love performing and making music. So yeah.
So if you could get into a time machine and go back in time and see one jazz performance, where are you going?
Okay, I have to just answered this in the moment because you could ask
Yeah,
me, but I would love to see Betty Carter live.
yeah,
I just think that that would be one of a kind.
yeah.
I mean, talk about top of the
Oh
craft.
yeah, I agree. Totally
Have you
agree.
ever seen her live?
No, but I've heard from so many of her students. She was a really rough teacher, but she was very thorough and very good. And I have heard that her shows are kind of in that realm of like Springsteen-esque. Like you never forget it. There's a level of energy, there's a level of entertainment, there's this merging and convergence of so many themes that make it
Yes.
more dynamic than just, somebody has to go to this city to do this show. You feel like it was tailor made for you. And I've always felt like that's the ingredient that makes her soup tasty, you know?
Yes, makes her
Yeah.
soup tasty. I love that.
So yeah,
I'd put Nancy Wilson up there too for
yeah,
completely different reasons, but oh man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. There's a lot of things that you could pick. That would be a tour de force if you could just stop in the DeLorean everywhere you want to go, you know?
Oh, I wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making any more
That's it.
music.
Full time in the time machine. So let me ask you this. Everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, fans, everyone on the bandstand, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm unabashedly authentic. Uh I maybe sometimes to a fault. Um I think like I've said, I'm pretty emotionally driven, so I just where I show up is wherever I am, and I really try to honor that. Again, that's why I love jazz. I feel like it accepts me wherever I am. I never have to force anything. Um, I think I'm pretty cool. I don't know. I'm bubbly, sort of a mess, heart forward. Like I really love my band. I love my players. I do everything I can to support them and lift them up, make them feel appreciated and loved and honor their artistry and their musicality alongside me. Um, yeah, I used to get a lot of comments when I came out like as a musician of quirky or eccentric, and I used to really bristle at that. And now I'm like, I think I'm okay with that. I
Yeah.
think I'm okay being eclectic. Um, I'd rather be eclectic than predictable, I think.
Absolutely. No, I think that those would be terms to definitely embrace. So let's get to the important business. If anybody wants to pick up the new album, they want to catch you live, previous work, any of the good business, where do they go?
The best place to go is my website. It's lesliedellavincent.com. I keep a pretty accurate show schedule. You can link to my merch is there if you want to buy a vinyl or a CD. I also did really cute prints, cartoon prints of all the songs, so you can see visual representations of all the tunes. That'll be up soon. And then I'm very active on social. I find actually a lot of joy in connecting with people on social. So Instagram and TikTok, you can find me there.
Okay, wonderful. I will put all of these links in the show notes. So great to meet you. Thank you for opening up your world of music. It's been a delight. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe. It was really nice to meet you.
Great to
Neon Jazz.